Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at EVGO. This was a stock analysis request from one of the followers, and I wanted to let you know that anyone can make these requests and I will most likely cover them, especially if there is an actionable trade setup to follow. Now this chart is one we have covered already a couple of times, and in the previous video we were focusing strictly on this idea of a potential larger uptrend forming and the orange interpretation that would still, however, while allowing a deeper retracement and continuation of the overall larger downtrend, it would still, however, prefer another high. And here in this area, from the all-time low, we are focusing on this potential 1-2 setup, where this is where we have a potential additional 1-2 setup, where right now, even the wave 2 may have bottomed, yeah? In the previous video, we were looking still for additional extensions lower. We had no signal of a bottom, and I provided you this area of support in green between the $3.7 level all the way down to the $2.6 level at the 78.6% retracement, which, as long as it holds, we can expect with high likelihood to continue to new highs, at least in one of the interpretations in white or in orange, yeah? And in the white interpretation, we are looking for a third wave to the upside to be developing, where in the orange interpretation, we would expect to form an ABC structure where, yeah, this is the likely part of the uptrend that we are tracking. This ABC pattern is the likely movement, the likely structure that would play out, but then we could face risks of failing to hold support for further continuation to the upside in this larger wave 3 and head into new all-time low territory. Now this would come in line with the overall larger trend, but since we have here these 1-2 setups in the smaller time frame, we are able to track with higher likelihood, continuation higher, and ideally we form a larger 5-wave move to the upside, yeah? We have here this initial 5-wave move to the upside. We are looking at a 3-wave correction deep into the area of support, and then we would expect to form another 5-wave move to the upside, yeah? These are the high probability trade setups we always seek, yeah? And since we have here one even in the smaller time frame, the same rules apply, where we are looking at least for another 5-wave move to the upside, ideally forming a larger wave 3. And in the previous video, I was able to provide you a potential ideal target for the larger wave 3 that we are expecting here to the upside around the $23 level. Well, now, since we may have bottomed here in the wave 2 correction, we could be looking even for an ideal target for the internal wave 3. Now, that is at the $9 level, and if this third wave, if the actual wave 3 only gets to those levels, I would have high doubts about actually forming a third wave to the upside, and I would probably consider more likely to form a 5-wave move in a wave C instead. But this is the ideal target for the wave 3. It doesn't need to stop there, so the ideal target for the wave 3 is an ideal target, yeah? We don't need to stop there. If it exceeds such expectations, it is no problem at all, especially considering that it would be a third wave of a larger wave 3. Now, with that said, actually, we can even look here for an ideal target for the wave C in orange, and that would be at the 100% extension of the wave 1, which is around the $6.6 level, very much in line with the 78.6% retracement for the resistance area that we are tracking. Now, I'm saying we may have a potential wave 2 bottom. This is, however, no confirmation. While we have here a 3-wave move to the downside that has unfolded, yeah, we can track this as an ABC structure to the downside, we don't have yet a larger 5-wave move to the upside that could allow us to track with high probability another 1-2 setup in this area. Yeah, that is still in progress. And while I don't expect further direct continuation to the downside within this structure, I am not opposed to a larger retracement, a larger correction within either the wave B or the wave 2. Yeah, this could extend into something like a larger ABC structure with no issue at all, especially considering that we have not maxed out yet the area of support and we still have room to push lower. But with that said, we don't need to. We have enough waves to the downside. We got to the area of support. We have fulfilled all the expectations in terms of the correction. We only need some additional confirmation by actually forming a larger, more reliable structure to the upside in this area. Now, what has formed so far is only in a very, very small time frame, and I could be tracking a couple of ideas in this area. So firstly, I could be looking for a potential series of 1-2 setups in this area, where even here it could be another 1-2, where we would expect to already start a much stronger third wave to the upside, and I wouldn't even necessarily look for a large correction with or for such an expectation. But then I could realistically also consider this easily to be a larger leading diagonal forming, where this could be a wave 1, a wave 2, a third wave up, a fourth wave down, and then a fifth wave that could still follow. And if we manage to build such a structure, I would have an increased probability view to track a potential 1-2 setup. Yeah, in that case we may have a higher probability setup to look again for continuation higher. Yeah, we need to take it level by level, each confirmation giving us more confidence that we are on the right track, and that we should, with higher and higher likelihood, track this interpretation and continue to look for such an interpretation to follow. Now, with that said, I will at the moment only be tracking here the idea of a larger wave 3 being formed in or as part of the leading diagonal, and it isn't necessarily a high probability interpretation. It is very difficult on this small time frame on this chart to be tracking correct exact patterns. And if I were to be looking for an area of support in such an interpretation, I would be watching the $30.4 level all the way down to the $3.1 level at the 61.8% retracement, where so far we got nearly to the 38.2% retracement before starting a more significant push, a more significant reversal to the upside after this initial correction that, again, 3 waves, it's enough. We may already be on our way in the fifth wave to the upside. And as we don't have too much going on here in the small time frame, I will leave you with this area of support to track a continuation in this possible 5-wave move, and focus only here on a larger area of resistance for possible continuation within these larger corrections. Yeah, either the wave 2 in white or the wave B in orange. And for this I would be watching the levels between the $3.5 all the way up to the $4.5 level, where we have pushed right now only into the 38.2% retracement before this more significant rejection. And yeah, it seems there is some relevance for this area of resistance. We can once again also look for potential resistance areas in terms of structural resistance. And yeah, here I believe I had even mentioned to you in the previous video these levels, especially at the $3.7 level around that area, and also here seems to be significant at around the $3.5 level where we only got rejected so far. And then we also have around the $4.1 level. Yeah, this is probably one of the more significant areas coming up of resistance, but yeah, it is overall a difficult area for us to go through, and we can only track the interpretation that is going to play out because we cannot predict the future. We are tracking the likely interpretations, and we are following the most likely scenario with a close view on the possibilities. And for now, these are the levels. This is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. And I just wanted to show you the larger areas without the background in white for the larger area of support. But yeah, bye bye.